years ago, no one.
All right.
She's in the window.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
All right, I gotta get through this. 6 years ago, no one believed that I could become a state representative.
Yeah.
We were outspent 5-1.
Ooh.
Yeah. We were outspent 5-1. There were a couple of organizations, progressive organizations, that were like, this is our candidate. We want to go with the one that the establishment does not want. One of the main organizations, and they all lined up together. They did. One of the main organizations was TOP. People said there's no way she's going to win. 6 years later.
Yeah.
Woo! 6 years later, a very short amount of time, I went from being the kid that no one thought could do it, who was out there hustling, knocking doors, putting door hangers at the apartment complexes, doing everything that I could. We were in the midst of George Floyd. Was that election or the other? No, it was that one. There was a runoff because I was number 2. I wasn't number 1. I made it to the runoff, and then they ended up killing George Floyd. People told me I had to go and get on the phones because we just didn't have the money. And I said, I can't do that. I gotta go do what I know is best. You don't know somebody's circumstance in the middle of this pandemic. I'm not gonna be insensitive and ask for money. Instead, I'm gonna do what I've always done. I'm gonna stand with the people as they take to the streets. There were 600 protesters arrested in Dallas County. Actually, more than that. But 600 that we represented pro bono. No one ended up with a conviction. We just did what we wanted to do, which was to help the people. And guess what? The people saw that. There were people that said, we want to help you win because we believe in you. We had over 300 volunteers for a state house race. Every vote counted. We made people believe that every single vote mattered. And here it is. 6 years later, because of the power of 90 is what I'll call it. I am standing here on the cusp of becoming the Democratic nominee in the state of Texas for U.S. This is the power of the people. Do you know how many people along the road have told me, well, Jasmine, you're going to have to change. When I went off to Congress, they told me, you're not going to be able to be the same. I've been the same every single day that I have shown up in Congress. You know how many people said, specifically when I had that little incident with you know who? I had all these members say, we don't know if you're going to get reelected. We don't know about that. I said, one thing I didn't decide to do when I got here was to come to work and allow somebody to disrespect me. If I allow someone to disrespect me, how is it that the people that I represent will believe that I will fight for them? So I show up authentically me that makes some people cringe. But the people are tired of politics as usual. And right now, there are so many good establishment Democrats in Texas. And they're just like, well, I mean, if you're not going to campaign and try to go get everybody who's on the right, then how is it that you're going to win? We've tried that for 30 years. There are people that say you're crazy for thinking that expanding the electorate is the path. Let me give y'all some numbers. Right now, Texas is outvoting Republicans. Democrats are outvoting. Y'all know what I'm saying. Democrats are outvoting Republicans right now in Texas. So is it a matter of us having to cross over and go grab them?
Map that map.
That's right.
It is about making sure that the base is energized.
That's right.
A lot of people don't want to come out for a politician that just sounds like another Republican but has a D in front of their name. And here's the reality. I don't think that it's radical to say that people should have a living wage.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even think it's partisan.
Yeah.
I think it's just about the basics. I don't think that it's radical to say that people shouldn't be going hungry in the United States.
That's right.
I don't think it's radical to think that $6 a day to eat is really a joke.
Yeah.
I honestly, and let me give you the numbers on this too. Guess who uses more SNAP benefits than anybody? It is rural America. So let me tell you, my radical ideas obviously are to benefit everybody.
That's right.
I don't think it's radical to say that people should be able to afford a home in this country.
Yes.
I don't think it's radical to say that people should have access not only to a good paying job, but one that makes sure they are going to be safe.
That's right.
I don't have radical ideas.
That's right.
As a civil rights lawyer, I have really kind of like basic ideas. And frankly, anybody that wants better in their lives, no matter if they consider themselves a Democrat or a Republican or an independent, then they are welcome here. But I am not going to compromise my values and pretend like I need to bend the knee to rich folk. I'm not going to pretend like it is okay for people in the Epstein class to somehow avoid accountability. I'm not going to pretend like it is okay to have a president who thinks he's a king and sits up there and continues to enrich himself.
Oversight.
And I will not back down. That is what you need to understand. Most people that are frustrated with Democrats and Republicans, they're frustrated because they say y'all are a bunch of cowards. Because when it's time to stand up and fight, they fold. I'm going to tell you right now that my record is one of fighting. I ain't never folded. Not a day in my life. Y'all never have to worry about where I stand. You know where I stand. Let me tell you something. I ain't going to tell y'all about that vote. I was going to tell y'all about a certain vote, but it gives people a little funny acting. But nevertheless, you never have to worry about where I stand. You know how many people had to call my office as it relates to ICE funding? Ain't nobody called me. You know why? They knew exactly where I was going to be. They didn't have to call me. I am always a sure thing. They knew that I wasn't going to vote for that nonsense. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't afford to have a wild card in this moment.
All right.
That's just that. You need a proven, dedicated fighter who also just happens to know what she's doing. This ain't the time to send a rookie, y'all. It's not. Listen, me going to the Senate is me going across the hall. That's what it is. They don't call the Senate the Congress, but it is. It is the Congress, right? I am already in the Congress. And so I am the most experienced person, not just because I say it, but because I am the only one that is actually in the Congress. And for anybody that has questions about where I stand on issues, listen, we have more issues on our issues page and we could keep going than anybody else. But I thought it was so important that I lay out that I don't just say that I'm for housing reform, that I just don't say that I'm looking out for veterans, that I don't just say that I'm looking out for educational opportunities. I needed to show you what I've been doing because I don't go viral for like doing that stuff. I go viral when I clash with somebody. But the reality is that that is not the substance of who I am. That's just a little bit of the spice that comes with it. There is real substance. The reality is that, listen, ain't nobody ever gave a black woman too much in this world. I have always had to put in the work, and it has always been 10 times as much work. But it's okay. I mean, it's not okay. I understand what it is, and I rise to the challenge. But I also understand, and we have always said that this is not about any one individual. This is about us collectively, and understanding your power, and harnessing that power, and never giving up on your power. In this moment, the people in power want you to feel helpless. They want you to feel hopeless. I am here to tell you that this is our moment. We are going to change the trajectory, not just of the country, but of the world. Right now. People thought I was a crash dummy when I signed up. They said, now, Congresswoman, we need your voice in D.C. I said, that's cool, because you're going to be able to send me back. But it's Texas, and we know how Texas acts. Yes, I know how Texas acts. But the reality is that I looked at the numbers. People don't want to accept the fact that this is a majority-minority state.
Yeah.
And I am telling you that because I am a candidate that has the coalition that we need for Democrats to win. When y'all think about when Democrats win, who is always the number one backer of Democrats? Which demographic?
Black people.
Black women.
Black women.
Black women are always first. Okay? Who's number two? All right, this one may be a little bit more difficult. Who's number three? Latinas. There we go. Let me tell you something. Every single poll, even in this primary, you know who it is that my biggest supporters are, even in the primary? Black women, number one. Black men, number two.
Yeah.
Latinas, number three.
All right.
That is the coalition. That is who we are going to have to make sure that we can motivate. Now, that doesn't mean we're leaving anybody out. I don't want y'all to think that now. Okay? The other part of the coalition we've been losing for the longest time has been the working class. They keep talking about how Democrats keep losing the working class. For people that don't have a formal 4-year degree, guess who's been winning them? Me. By more than 20 points against my primary opponent. These are the things that we need to be thinking about going into November. It's the people that we absolutely have to turn out, the people that we can't afford to sit at home, because historically in the state of Texas, they have set the elections out. You have a candidate that believes in going and talking to everyone. But as it relates to making those investments, we gotta invest in who it is that we know has been ignored. And it is those people in the coalition. It is not the Republicans. I'm just telling y'all. Now, does that mean the Republicans ain't gonna vote for me? It doesn't. Because I've already had a few. Tell me, if it's such and such, I'm with you. Now, I'm not gonna tell you which candidate they dislike the most. But honestly, anybody that is looking for better, because if you are in Texas and you are complaining about any aspect of your life, I will continue to remind them that the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the gubernatorial mansion. I will remind them that the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Whatever your issues are, it ain't the trans folks. They not the ones. Whatever your issues are, it ain't the diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to be clear that they are distracted and they are divided. We need to be united in this moment. And we need to understand where the real opposition lies. It is not within. It is over there. So I am committed to doing everything that I can for the down ballots, because I have been there. I wouldn't be here as a down ballot candidate who only won by 90 votes. I understand the power of getting people into the state house, so that when they try to play the redistricting games again, we have the right people in place. We cannot look at this and say that this is just this election. It has to be bigger than that. And do y'all understand why they're fighting so hard? Do y'all understand what comes after the midterm? It's the presidential. If they can continue to convince the country that there's no way Texas can do this, then we don't get the investments. But so long as we win, that means that the investments start to flow into our state.
That's right.
And you tell me how the Republicans get the White House without Texas. There is no math that maths for the Republicans. I'm telling y'all. We just heard from John Cornyn this week. He said, if y'all choose wrong, we may lose. He's acknowledging this. Governor Abbott has decided that he is spending over $1 million a week against me, and he dropped this right before the primary. Some will try to convince you that the Republicans really want me. The money tells a different story. These are the facts. Just follow the money. So listen, we got to get out here. We got to work. We talk to everybody. The great equalizer has always been at the ballot box. Whether you are Elon Musk or an unhoused person, let me tell you, your vote counts just the same.
That's
Yes,
right.
it
So
does.
don't leave anybody out of this
That's
process.
right. Yeah.
Part of that 90 that helped me was because I had the audacity to give out water to some unhoused folk, and it just so happened that all we had was Jasmine water because we were swagged out in that campaign.
Ah.
There were unhoused folk that actually came and voted for me just because I saw their humanity. I was not trying to campaign. It was hot,
Yeah.
and we were in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were outside because of the spacing requirements. And so I just gave out water.
All right.
And I found out from one of my poll greeters that some unhoused folk had came in to vote for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never underestimate the power of just having a little bit of humanity,
Yeah.
especially in this moment.
Yeah.
That is my charge to you. Don't leave anybody out of this equation,
Right.
because right now we are all in the same sinking ship. So God bless y'all, and let's get it.
Yeah.